That's right, you can see security is still so tight here. We're right out front of the Amway Center, and I want to show you right here to my right is just the overflow section. I'm standing on the roof of the Bay Village Retirement Community, and believe it or not, this is only 13 stories above ground, just under 140 feet. Now imagine going up another 12 stories. This is how high Nick Walenda and his sister Liana will be. This one in particular has mixed paper and it's already been cleaned, so it's ready. And I can actually probably pan over just a little bit. It's that yellow home where those firefighters are. You can see the smoke damage. So I do want to just kind of zoom in so you guys can see closer to like where all of the action is happening. Detectives just removed that body that was found floating in Sarasota Bay from the 10th Street boat ramp behind me. Law enforcement is calling Ring and other systems like it the new age digital neighborhood watch. This building you see behind me is Sarasota Police Department. It is literally just steps away from Payne Park, where we are now and where all of this happened. We're all wearing these backpacks, and I can't take this off until I stuff it with crayons or colored pencils, anything. Bring them here. We'd love to see you. I'm witnessing it for myself. A lot of these drivers going like this, looking up, then back down at their phone, then up, then back down at their phone, texting while behind the wheel. Slide them on and you're in a whole new world.
Ooh.
This is already encouraging residents to recycle more. Just how quickly a car burglary like this can happen. So we'll see, we'll time it. Ready? Three seconds. And remember,
Happy Halloween.
You said happy Halloween. This has rocked you emotionally.
I'm devastated.
So Keith, you told me you're a father, you are against this. Do you have another alternative for keeping students safe? Good evening, I'm Taylor Torregano. But how about vacations? A business called Fake a Vacation allows people to do just that. First alert traffic for the drive home. We're seeing a slowdown that's pretty typical for this time of day. I-75 moving north towards Tampa in November to reinstate voter rights for convicted felons. Congressman Stubbe says so far $1 million has already been raised in sponsorships alone. That's right, Bill. Obviously not the best news for this family to be getting. And on top of that, today is Earl's wife's due date. She'll be having their second child here at the same hospital that her husband is now recovering after being severely bitten by that rattlesnake.
At this moment, I'm just thankful he's here with us, knowing that what could have happened.
But tears filled Diana Yersted's eyes at the thought of what did happen.
I have drop foot, so I will no longer be able to raise my foot up. I'll have to have some extensive gear of some sort.
It took a split second for life as Earl knew it to change with no warning.
I was screaming, I got bit. It felt literally like a bat hitting my leg, and I looked down and started hearing the sound of a rattlesnake.
Unusual, because the experts say rattlesnakes will typically rattle first, then strike. But Earl Yerstead was in swampy lands just outside of the new Braves Stadium. This was the snake's territory.
Being that we've had a lot of rain last week in this area, that'll flush them out. We also have high temperatures, which means their metabolism is increasing, which means they're going to feed more often. He was clearing an area, so we don't know if he was clearing an area that's the animal's home. Just like you protect your home, they protect their home the same way.
The rattlesnake curator called it a perfect storm, which might be why Sarasota Memorial Hospital has treated 2 patients with snake bites from Northport in the last week after 5 years of no bites at all. But it's not just there.
The diamondback rattlesnake on the trail right near Escashare.
This video taken on the Legacy Trail by Daryl Lang on a stroll over the weekend. The good news is, experts say if you don't attack them, rattlesnakes typically won't attack you.
The snake's not going to say, hey, here's a human at a bike, let me go chase them down and bite them. That's not what they want to do, because once again, it takes energy to produce venom, and you want to conserve energy, and it also puts a snake at risk.
So if you're hiking out on a local trail or in a rural construction area, be on the lookout. Experts say you should always keep your eyes and ears open for that rattle. Shuffle your feet through the woods and take your time. Don't go running through those shrubs. Lastly, remember, you're in nature's realm, not yours. I'm reporting from Sarasota Memorial Hospital, Taylor Torregano, ABC 7, your Suncoast News. What happened to Sheena Morris? It's a question that's been asked for more than a decade now, and the answer depends on who you ask. The Bradenton Beach Police Department quickly determined she killed herself. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement did too. But now, new clues and old evidence have other experts certain Morris was murdered. January 1st, 2009, 2 a.m.
911, what's the emergency?
Hi, my name is Sheena. He left here probably about half an hour ago. I had deputies come out here because he did physically hurt me.
Sheena Morris tells the dispatcher police had already been called to the Bradenton Beach Motel where she and her fiancé, Joe Genoese, were staying. Neighbors had heard them fighting and called 911.
I filled out a police report here in Manatee County because he did make me bleed.
She then says she was calling police again to tell them Genoese had taken her entire purse and was now claiming he was on his way to trash her home.
Now he's like, I'm going to go to your house and ruin your house. You ruined my life.
2 p.m. Sheena Morris was found dead, hanging in the motel bathroom. Genoese says he left in the middle of the night to care for his daughter.
No, you left in the middle of the night because you murdered my daughter. Even in the crime scene photos, that purse shows back up in the room.
Sheena's mother, Kelly Osborne, never believed for a second that her daughter committed suicide. She says the police didn't even file the initial domestic abuse report.
That not being handled, I think they had to cover it up and make it a suicide. Because that alone, them not handling the domestic dispute, she could still be alive.
Numerous other crime scene investigators and experts have looked at this case, including certified senior crime scene analyst Jan Johnson. She pored over the same photos everyone else did, but this time she noticed something different.
She had to have been in the chair, positioned in the chair for a period of time for that mark to have set in as a lividity pattern.
This lividity pattern that Johnson says can only happen after death.
That means the blood that's settled around, so she has to be in a fixed seated position in the chair for that pattern to have, basically, it's like tattooing.
When Johnson was finally able to measure the same chair that was in the motel room the night Sheena Morris died, she says it matched perfectly with those marks on Sheena's back, but it was nowhere near the bathroom where Sheena was found hanging. Is this a clear indication to you that Sheena did not commit suicide?
Yes, it is. How else would we explain that there's nothing in the shower, there's nothing on her clothing, there's nothing that's consistent with that pattern except for the chair in that condo?
And I'm like, oh my gosh. I just couldn't believe it.
But after all this time and what Osborne calls intentional negligence by Florida law enforcement, she's lost all faith that they're even interested in justice for Sheena.
You know, at first a lot of people say to you, you know, time will heal. And that is absolutely not true. Time never heals. As a matter of fact, as time goes on, it gets harder and harder and harder because you miss them that much more.
Osborne tells me at this point she's hoping for somebody else to see this new evidence and open another investigation. My calls to the Bradenton Beach Police Chief, the lead detective on this case with the Bradenton Beach Police Department, and Joe Giannis all went unreturned. I'm Taylor Torregano, ABC 7